Hello everyone, welcome to Exam Assure. Today we are going to discuss about the notification issued by the Tamil Nadu Municipal Administration and Water Supply Department for various posts like that of Assistant Engineer in Planning, Town Planning Officer and Town Planning Inspector or Junior Engineer in Planning Department. So in this video, we are going to discuss about the exam, the eligibility criteria, the pattern of the exam, its marking scheme, and important dates related to the exam. So first of all, the exam that will be conducted, the candidates who will be selected would be recruited in various departments, that is the Directorate of Municipal Administration, Tamil Nadu Water Supply and Drainage Board, and Chennai Metropolitan Water Supply and Sewerage Board. So the exam for about the exam, the posts for assistant engineer, there are 156 vacancies. For the town planning officer grade 2, there are 12 vacancies. And for town planning inspector or junior engineer in planning, there are 102 vacancies. Now, as far as the eligibility criteria is concerned, the age of the candidate should be maximum 32 years of age as on 1st of July 2024. For the education qualification, the criteria date for that qualification is 31st of January 2024. So you should be having your degree in hand or your diploma in hand before 31st of January 2024. Now, for the post of assistant engineer and for the town planning officer, the candidate should have a degree in planning or civil engineering or architecture. And if they have a master's degree, they would be given preference at the time of selection. And for the post of town planning inspector or junior engineer, the candidate should have either a diploma in civil engineering or architecture or a degree in planning. So the exam pattern, the exam is divided into two parts, that is the written exam and the interview. Now with respect to the written exam, it is again bifurcated into two, that is part 1 and part 2, where part 1 would be your subject paper related to civil or architecture or planning, depending upon what your graduation is in which field. And part 2 again is divided into part A and B, where part A would be the Tamil eligibility test, more related to the language test, and part B consists of general knowledge and aptitude. Now let us look at it in a little bit more detail. So the exam would be in a OMR method. Now for the posts of assistant engineer and town planning officer grade 2, if we see the subject, the paper 1, right? So in that case, you will be having the exam or the paper would be in 3 categories, that is civil engineering, town planning, and architecture. So let's say you've completed your graduation in architecture. So you would have to give the architecture exam. If you've completed your graduation in civil engineering, you would have to give the test for the civil engineering paper. So the paper 1 would be for 3 hours, maximum of 300 marks. And in this part, the part 2 or the paper 2, here you have part A, that is the eligibility test related to language, where you would have 100 questions of 150 marks. And in part B, you have general knowledge and you have aptitude and mental ability. So for general knowledge, there would be 75 questions, and aptitude, you would have 25 questions, again, coming up to 100 questions for 150 marks. Now in this, your part A of paper 2 would be only of qualifying nature. So in part A, you need to score at least more than 60 marks, that is 40%, more than 40% of 150 in order to be considered for checking your paper 1 and part B of paper 2. Also, if you see, your interview consists of 60 marks and the total marks would be of 510. So in this case, your paper 2 part A is only of qualifying nature and would not be considered for the final selection. So in the final selection or final score, your paper 1 and part B of paper 2 would be considered along with your interview marks. For the town planning inspector or junior engineer post, you have the paper related to civil engineering or architecture. And in case if you have a degree in planning, you would be giving this same paper as that for the assistant engineer or town planning officer grade 2. Now, even with respect to the part or paper 2, for town planning inspector, the criteria remains the same, where you need to score minimum 60% 60 marks or 40% in part A of paper 2, and then only you would be eligible for checking your paper 1 and part B of paper 2. So the last date for submission of the application is 12th of March 2024 up to 5:45 p.m. And the exam would be conducted for your assistant engineer and town planning officer. The exam would be on 30th June. So for paper 1, it is from 9:30 to 12:30 and paper 2 from 2 to 5. And for the town planning inspector post, the exam would be held on 29th of June 2024. So paper 1 in that case would be again from 9:30 to 12:30 and paper 2 would be from 2 to 5 p.m. So we would be conducting an introductory session on the 18th of February for all those students who have lots of doubts, lots of queries. So we will be addressing all your issues. The link for the same would be shared in the description below, along with the link for application. So hope to see all of you on 18th of Feb. Thank you.